Hi,
Hi,
nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too, Mike.
What should I start with a very brief description of what my course is meant to do?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the whole course is designed to help us explore the liminal space between the conscious and the subconscious, and to bring the two into greater creative collaboration. It's a 6-week course, and we start the first 3 weeks aims at draining any backlog of accumulated stress, unprocessed memories and conflicts. So it includes techniques and material for working with trauma, PTSD, and phobia. Although you don't have to talk about whatever might be happening with you, it just provides the means of working with it. We look then at beliefs as well, and how beliefs construct our reality and can be partially construct the reality around us. We consider what happens when we look at our beliefs as being changeable. We may change them. We may be able to let some of them go if we don't want them. So things like a belief such as I'm not good enough or I can't do something might be a useful belief to be able to get rid of. That then clears the way for looking at new interpretations, new frameworks of interpretation of what has happened in the past, but also what's happening now and in the future. So you can think of it as being a bit like the Zen idea of an empty cup. And then in the second half, the second 3 weeks, we look at specifically intuition, what we mean by that, how it works, where it's coming from. And when we're considering that, we look at things like the idea of the collective unconscious or collective consciousness, and consider whether it's true or not. It may not be as important as whether or not it is a useful framework for enabling us to do particular things or to think in particular ways. A lot of this is based on metaphor. So each week, each session is a framing at the beginning of the substance of the session and some of the theory behind what we're exploring. That's followed by a 20 to 25-minute guided relaxation, which is relevant to that particular theme. And then for the final half hour, we have an open forum discussion where we explore what the results are and what we think we've experienced and what's happening and how that may affect us and help us to move forward. So that's pretty much basically what it is. And finally, we look at how do we bring all that together so as to enter into a flow state. What is a flow state, and what becomes possible when we're in a flow state? And we don't necessarily have hard and fast answers to those questions. I don't. The answers may be different for everybody, but it's an interesting thing to explore again. The aim is to clear out a lot of backlog of stress and tension, and to free up the connection between our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, and our intuition, and to push back the boundaries a bit about what we think might be possible so that we can do more open exploration.
Sounds fascinating.
So hopefully
Oh,
that's...
yeah. How did you become interested in something like this?
Well, I started with I nearly got thrown out of school for hypnotizing my classmates during the lunch hour when I was 14. So it's kind of been a lifelong fascination with consciousness, different brain states, and psychology.
Mm.
But when I was young, the only psychology you could study was behaviorism, which was very not, I mean, it wasn't anything, didn't cover hardly anything at all, really, which was of any real interest. So I studied all kinds of other models of psychology from different cultures. And then when things got more interesting in the United States, when you were looking at things like Gestalt and systemic approaches to understanding psychology and consciousness, those became much more interesting, but I was too late for me to start studying then. So I did a parallel career in payment systems, traveled all over the world, and then I did an MBA in innovation strategy, and then after that, some postgraduate studies in systems thinking. And then about 7 years ago, I did a formal training in solutions-focused hypnotherapy. And all of those things, all of those threads converged to form what is now I call liminal coaching.
Yeah.
It's designed to actually help people to simply be able to be more freely and more completely who they are and do what they want to and get to where they want to.
Yeah. Fascinating. That was really interesting what you said about the hypnotizing your schoolmate. Did it happen by accident or on purpose or?
Oh, I did it on purpose. There was a book in the school library called Hypnotism for Medical and Dental
Ah,
Practitioners.
okay. Yep.
So I tried it out and it worked, and it was very, very
Okay.
interesting, absolutely fascinating, because
Is-
it was written by a doctor, and they had examples. And it still happens. There's a hospital in Liège in France which specializes in using hypnoanesthesia,
Yeah.
where they actually get you actually capable of anesthetizing yourself, and they will even perform surgery
Yeah.
under those circumstances.
Yeah.
So that's very, very interesting. That fascinated me, and
Mm.
yeah, so it became the basis of a lifelong pursuit, really.
Yeah. So have you studied hypnotherapy as well?
Yes, I
Yeah.
qualified as a solutions-focused hypnotherapist about 7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So a lot of liminal coaching is built on the foundation of solutions-focused hypnotherapy, but I've taken it a lot further by looking into the neuroscience more carefully. And I also think I've developed a novel conception of how it works and what we're actually
Mm.
doing. So
Yeah.
that enables me to be far more explicit and accurate about the state that we're aiming to get into.
Yeah. Because I can do that with horses, but that was sort of happened by accident.
All right.
And it's,
It's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
How
So,
interesting. Yeah.
well, wild horses on Dartmoor or the ponies.
Fantastic. Oh, right.
So, yeah.
Amazing. I'd like to
So,
know
yeah.
more about that. Please feel free to hook up with me on LinkedIn if you'd like to, and I'm very happy to have a half-hour chat some